The markets are not doing much, but now we want to focus on the budget, which is less than 2 weeks away. We will now go over to our special segment where we're talking about the expectations from the budget. This time, we're talking about the road sector. We have with us Mr. Kishore Kumar Mohanty, MD of Gammon Infrastructure, who's joining us in our Mumbai studios to talk to us about what the road sector is expecting from the budget. Mr. Mohanty, for this year that is coming to an end, the road space has been a bright spot. Not only have we seen the allocation of about 43,000 crore rupees getting utilized, we're seeing an increase in the pace of bidding as well as execution. What is the expectation from the upcoming budget? We've heard figures of 85,000 crores as allocation for the road sector coming through. Do you think the government will increase it to as much?
First of all, let me clarify that in the road sector also there are two distinct areas. One is a EPC construction, the other is a PPP model business. In the PPP model business, I will more speak for the PPP model business because that's the business I know the best. In the PPP model business, there is a lot of projects today languishing as stalled projects in between not being completed. This has resulted in a huge default into the banks, and banks are becoming apprehensive of the sector, and the funding is their stance on funding is becoming very hard. And this is a capital hungry business. Without the capital being available or both debt and equity, naturally this sector cannot progress. So the first and foremost, the expectation from the budget will be how the government is approaching to resolve those issues of the stalled projects, especially where the public sector or the government machineries have defaulted in providing or fulfilling their condition precedents. Unless that solution is arrived, to get back the confidence of the lenders and the investors in this sector will be extremely difficult. So in my opinion, the first and foremost issue should be how these issues are resolved to the comfort zone or the comfort level of the lenders and the investors both. Then this the sector will automatically look up.
Right. But Mr. Mohanty, most recently at the end of January itself, the road minister held a meeting with construction companies and bank lenders to try and resolve whatever problems exist, the disputes between concessionaires and and the banking associates because of escalation of cost. So what came out of that meeting? And the government has on its own tried to resolve these problems by coming out with a hybrid model, by coming out with a model so that the pressure on funding goes down. NHAIS has been chipping in to help. Has there been any progress made there?
Hybrid model and other initiatives taken for the newer projects are the futuristic. We need to address the old issues first. And second point is, even if the government have the best of intention, and sometimes the few of the initiative taken by the cabinet or the ministers have been path-breaking, but I must say there has to be a convergence between principles of intentions and the rules. Today, when those same initiatives are being implemented, it gets diluted so much in the process that nobody gets benefited or no solutions comes out of it. Though there has been few cases where there has been this being applied and some result being visible, but the scope is much bigger. And today, whatever you say in a meeting like this, if you go and in one-to-one basis, on a bilateral basis, you go to the bankers and meet them, you will be able to realize what has been their attitude and position towards funding new projects or even trying to restructure or find a way out for the stalled projects. So unless this situation is coming to a certain situation where there is a solution and the confidence of the lender and the investors coming back, it is very difficult to work out a complete solution. I must say that even if sometimes the principles are right or the intentions are right, when it is getting implemented through the rules or the guidelines or implementation circulars, it just gets diluted. And the whole intention goes for a toss and it just become unimplementable. So we have to have a convergence between the policy making agencies, the government intentions and the implementation agencies like the bureaucracy, the media, the financiers, the bankers, the activists, and especially the state governments.
Right. Mr. Mohanty, you know, the target that the government has is for creation of 30 kilometers of road per day by March. And they are quite confident that they will utilize the entire allocation made for this financial year. Do you think that target is achievable? And going ahead into the next year, will the road sector be a beacon of hope for growth in the country?
To be very honest, road sector can be one of the catalysts to really revive the economy. That's we strongly believe, and that's the basic infrastructure necessity of the country for any development or economy to revive. But 30 kilometers might be a little more political statement. I am not in a position to comment on that. But budgets like 43,000 crore or 85,000 crore, those are still looks to be too small compared to the demand of infrastructure in the country and amount of road to be built in the country. So as far as this 43,000 crore or 85,000 crore, if it is going through a EPC route, it's not a very huge target. Naturally, it is doable, achievable, and might be it will get adjusted very soon. But yes, if you have to address the total need of the infrastructure of road in the country, you have to have a mix of both PPP projects and the EPC projects. Then only might we will be able to do a decent job. What is the need of the hour? Assuming that, unless we are able to address these issues, I don't think there will be much of a headway. It's already 2 years, we are much below the expectation level, both industry, government, and everybody is, what was expected 2 years back has not been achieved yet. Everybody is getting a little restless. So it's difficult to predict a timeline when this can revive and look better. But yes, I must admit that the few of the initiative intentions taken by the government and by the cabinet has been path-breaking. But still those are implementations are becoming an issue. So unless that happens, I think it will take still longer time.
All right, Mr. Mohanty, thank you so much for speaking with us at NDTV Profit, giving us your feedback on what your expectation is.
Can you allow me for 2 more points?
Very quickly, Mr. Mohanty.
Yeah, one is one I wanted to from the budget expectation is because you are discussing that the MAT today, the tax window you get for the tax exemption for a 10 years period, MAT is defeating that purpose. If the government is in the budget doing some exercise, they must do the exercise of how they can save this 10 window period given for the tax exemption, save from the MAT also. The second point is the sanctity of the revenues, especially the annuity payments or the toll. Today the governance issues in the state governments are so there has been a huge leakage on the sanctity of the toll issues. Government should come forward with some formula to protect the sanctity of the toll revenues so that the investors and lenders can find it more comfortable.
All right, Mr. Mohanty, thank you so much for giving us your feedback on what your expectations are from the union budget that's coming up. So Mr. Mohanty would like to see better implementation on the ground. The government's intentions are good, but he would want to see better implementation and papering over the disputes when it comes to cost escalation and stalled projects.